Yeah, we are also
And
waiting.
Yeah,
we
but
are.
we're waiting. It's not.
Yeah,
like,
Yes.
waiting.
Oh,
No,
come and do the
go
same
back.
thing as me.
Go back.
It's not. If everyone does it like this, then well, it's not gonna
Not
have
go-
an end.
Oh, we'll
Everyone
move.
just takes over.
If everyone moves, then everyone moves.
But you know what was written there? There is a long distance,
Yes.
100 meter, and there is
Yes.
only one person allowed. And here are
Yes.
a lot of persons,
One,
and as long
two.
as one
Oh.
Yes.
on the line,
Okay,
do not overtake. That's the rules.
I get you. Circulates now on internet a lot of videos about the climb of Snowdon in Snowdonia and in Wales in Great Britain in the United Kingdom. You have huge queues. Some they try to create content by saying British have a tendency to always stay in the queue and then wrap around that, whatever they do to gain likes and hypes and so forth. What happens? Well, people to take a picture with this mountain peak, with the top of it, they queue. They queue for meters, tens of meters or more. And then comes one trying to build hype on internet or get likes or whatever they try to do there, saying, oh, I will not stay in the queue, I will just go and touch it and keep going. And of course they try to polarize the audiences for them to get the fame. Then you have others that they record the ones skipping the queue and they say, look, this firefighter or this person is skipping the queue instead of conforming to society, to the norm. Now, I've seen also on the internet in Italy how they say, again, to make it seem so interesting, above 2,500 meters, everyone queues for a donut. Well, in Italy, it is rare that you'll have to climb 2,500 meters to get to a mountain peak. You usually go by car right below there, close by, and then on top of that you have a cable car that will take you up to the top. So when you say I've been at 3,000 meters in Italy, it is rare that you actually climbed that. You took a public service or a private whatever, you paid to be taken there. Again, it is rare that you made any effort to go that high. But of course, social media is social media. The cameras we are using, they don't reproduce reality the way it is. Then the way it is framed, again, it sends a completely different message. And it is always inflated. It is always not the truth, because what interests everyone, for who knows what reason, is not to build a good argument, a good message, wrap that properly and reach masses to have a positive impact. We want to gain fame fast. We want to make money. We want to get rich. We want to get attention. It appears the primal of us at the end of the day. This is what happens recently on internet. I was decided to speak about it when it happened to me. Of course, fearing that what will happen when I will start speaking about this, what will happen, and also still asking myself what is right and what is wrong. I don't know. I don't know if it is right to stay in the queue or if it is wrong to cut it. Let's speak about this. I've said never will do that, and when I've said never, say never, because you'll never know how it happens. And it happened. I never wanted to climb Mürren Via Ferrata. Never. I never had an interest at all. Let's say differently. Under the hype created by social media, I was misled into thinking that I want to go on Mürren Via Ferrata. It is such an amazing place that I absolutely have to go because this will transform my entire life. Lucky me, the way my Via Ferrata journey happened got to a point where I spotted more and more places where nobody goes, and they are amazing, absolute gems. And then I learned how to read maps, how to scan internet for bullshit, and I realized Mürren is bullshit, full bullshit. It is a walk through a forest where they they added the safety steel cable to make the forest, the walk through the forest, a Via Ferrata. And it has three or four moments when it actually is a Via Ferrata. And that packed together is the amazing, fantastic, absolutely must-do Mürren Via Ferrata, which is not a Via Ferrata, not even an adventure park. It is at most, I don't know how to call it. Well, it is bullshit. Mürren Via Ferrata, it is pure bullshit. Now, truth to be told, the bridge, the long bridge at the end, did had a positive impact on through the scenery of it, through the geography around it. Yeah, I've crossed longer and more difficult bridges than that. Well, this is a difficult bridge because it's built badly. It is so badly engineered that it is hard to progress on it. You have to push yourself quite a lot to progress. But it's not difficult, it is just badly engineered. Everything around that bridge is beautiful. That one is the most beautiful, the single beautiful moment that I had on Mürren Via Ferrata. I liked it. Yeah, that one deserves what has to be said, which is, yeah, it had a good impact on me. That one had a good impact. Mürren. So what is the dilemma? What is the ethical problem here? You have this segment, the vertical segment. This is how you know about Mürren. This is how you learn. Everyone goes there and with their phone records, oh, look at this drop. Wow, 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 wow. I'm so amazing, so fantastic. Wow, wow, will you come? Oh, you have to, oh, wow, wow. And everyone goes for that. And of course, they have to take the picture, they have to take the video because, well, this is how everyone does now, right? They go on these places to snap the picture and check the checkbox, and from there to fit into the iPhone herd mentality. Good. So I start walking on this Mürren Via Ferrata through the forest, and I see how crowds are coming one after the other, the groups, the large groups with guides on. Oh, that one is such a, not even tourist trap, how to say, that one is a scam, literally a scam. To have a guide on Mürren Via Ferrata, imagine, it is a scam, that one is a scam. And I see so many, I'm thinking, wow, this will be bad today. And me recording, I let them get in front of me. And then I get to a point where there's a huge queue, and I'm wondering what's happening. Why did everyone stop? They are already slow, walking through the forest. Now it stopped. What happens? And then I realize, oh, probably it's the exposed section. And I'm thinking for a moment, and I decide to cut the queue. And of course, the peer pressure, the society, the way it indoctrinates us, you feel bad about it because you should sit in the queue, right? If everyone sits in the queue, you should not question that. Now, truth to be told, sometimes you have to follow the rules because they make sense and there is no, imagine what if each one of us will start questioning that. Imagine that. Driving a car on a road. Now you have a queue and you question that and say, no, I'm going in front to see what happens. Well, you cannot do that. You have to stay, right? If it is what it is, what do? You skip the queue for 10 kilometers to see what is in front. You cannot, will build massive chaos. Imagine now if everyone overtakes on a Via Ferrata, it will build massive chaos. It will increase the risk of human error and from there of death. So theoretically, you should stay in the queue. It appears we are in a traffic jam here, not knowing why and what happens. Should we overtake?
Yeah.
We will overtake. Thank you. Have a good one. I will see you later.
Ja, genau.
Hello. Oh no, we will overtake. Hello. Bitte? English. It's a line. Yes.
People are waiting.
You are correct.
I think it's so good to try to practice.
We are not here for the pictures. We'll go very fast compared to everyone. You come?
Is that why they're stopping? For photos?
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to go through as well.
We don't do that. We just cross. So we go there, where they take the pictures, we wait our turn, we go straight, and that's that. Yes? Hello.
Hello.
How are you today? We'll overtake you.
Why?
Because we are not interested in the pictures. Everyone is sitting there for the pictures. What we do is we go straight.
Yeah, also
And
waiting.
Yeah,
we are.
we're waiting. It's not.
Yeah,
like,
waiting.
Yes. Oh,
No,
come and do the
go
same
back.
thing as me.
Go back.
It's not. If everyone does it like this, then well, it's not gonna
Not
have
go-
an end.
Oh, we'll
Everyone
move.
just takes over.
If everyone moves, then everyone moves.
But you know what was written there? There is a long distance,
Yes.
100 meter, and there is
Yes.
only one person allowed. And here are
Yes.
a lot of persons,
One,
and as long
two.
as one is
Yes.
on the line,
Okay,
do not overtake. That's the rules.
I get you. So we get now to a debate point, because what happens is we have a queue. The question is how large you make the queue, and for what reason. How many people should be on the same cable waiting? For example, we have a queue here that happens. We don't know the reason why we have a queue. Nobody knows. They just sit in line and wait. And the rules say, oh, another one moving. They all move. Is this the segment where everyone is coming? Okay, you have a base jump there. Then you have what? The drop here. Okay. I have a car. They were saying there is a village below. Maybe it goes there and I don't know. I don't see the village. Okay. Yeah. What social media does of it. Whomever is for the first time will get scared by it. Definitely. Impressed. This should impress you. This is how they say. This is why you should come here, to get the taste of this exposure. Okay. I cut around the corner. I get to see the segment from the forest. And there was a woman, scared. She was scared for who knows how past minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, not decided to go. So, okay, it wasn't her wanting to take the pictures. So maybe, yes, maybe it was for the pictures, maybe she was hesitating. It's a dilemma, an ethical question. Should you stay in such a situation in the queue? Should you go and take liability and responsibility of unlocking the blocker? Is there any blocker, or just now you have the new normal? And the new normal is we have to wait in line for everyone to take for 5 minutes a picture or a video. What should we do? How should we normalize what? How our society should be? Should we make Mürren Via Ferrata experience the highlight of Via Ferrata? This is what should be the definition of the best, amazing, fantastic, great Via Ferrata. Should we normalize the staying on a Via Ferrata and recording and doing whatever? Or should we think at it differently? Should the people queuing in Snowdon for pictures be the norm? Or should going there and keep moving be the other norm? So which one should be the norm? What should we normalize? Should we normalize eating donuts on top of a mountain because we took a cable car and we parked the car 200 meters below? Or should we say, look, discover yourself, discover who you are, go and learn, experience, see the world from your perspective. Don't chase for social media. Should we force social media to be different, more information, more education? It will come on the channel now, this run for 52 days that I had around the Alps, and it will be education, in my opinion. It is places where almost nobody goes, in isolation, amazing places, fantastic places. You don't see them on social media. You don't see them on social media because it is long to get there, it is hard to get high, And, well, there is no hype around them. And the question we should think, where do they get as a society? How much self-critical thinking we exert and how much herd mentality? Because it appears we all go in the same places. I've tried to go to the beach now after returning, and I spend the morning in a quiet, reserved place, and then I go into another one which was full of tourists. I was so tired after the first 15 minutes. I wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. The question here is me as an individual that is wrong, or we as a society normalize differently, that we have a better balance, that we have more optionality, that we have more things, better things? Is this the direction that we should keep going towards, or should we adjust? Because we have now family, for example. Family as a structure is attacked, should not exist. Getting married, having kids, being a wife, being feminine, being a man, a real man with everything that makes you a man through your biology is wrong. So now the norm is something else. Is this where should we go, or should we readjust a bit? Should we think? And we go back to the dilemma, the ethical and the moral dilemma of what happened there. I cut the queue. Did I do right or wrong? Of course, when you cut the queue, you now expose yourself to liability. So you have to take that. I was recently on I Magnifici 4, I Magnifici 4, I4 Magnificent, the 4 Magnificent, Via Ferrata. And there was a dad with a daughter. And they wanted to go back because the daughter, she didn't feel quite confident. True that this Via Ferrata at a point in time was one of the hardest in Italy. It's no longer the case. And anyway, it was me, no? And I was assessing the situation and I thought, no, I can help. They already had the right gear, the right Via Ferrata belay gear with them. And I told them, I will help you. We'll go to the end of it together. When you do this, you take liability because now their life is in your hands. Their actions, their consequence of you telling them you'll help them, you taking this engagement to be there with them. So if anything happens, well, first of all, nothing should happen, but if anything happens, it is your liability. The moment you decide to skip the queue, you take on your shoulders some sort of liability. And this is a dilemma because you have to ask what type of liability and to what extent you should be liable for. Should we have some sort of normalization there or regulation? What should you do with this? Because on Mürren, you go through a forest. You don't see anything. There is nothing to see. And this is what creates that big impact, because forest, then comes this descending segment, which is, yes, it is vertical, so you have to solve that. And when you get back into forest, a bridge. Of course, now you have a bridge from the forest. Forest means you don't see anything. Your brain doesn't see the height, doesn't see the exposure, nothing. The moment you move from the forest onto the exposed wall, the impact is enhanced 100 times more, because out of a sudden, now you see the drop. If it is your first time, for example, even worse, no, because you are not familiar to that. I wasn't impressed at all, like zero. There was nothing that could impress me about this drop. Had nothing on it. But of course, this is my take on it. And then again, forest, and you get to the last bridge and so forth. So on one hand, people might be afraid or might not do that, and they prefer the queue because it's the cheapest. So what this means is, because liability is expensive, liability requires effort, skill, mastery, and so forth, people will choose the easier path. The easier path will always be you sit in the queue, you wait. Yes, it is a cost, but it's the lower out of the two. Liability, more, waiting in the line, less, and the most optimal, right? But now we get to this culture of queuing, where people don't question, people don't change behavior, people don't do more, people don't take responsibility and with it liability as well, people don't build mastery, people don't go above a certain threshold. We become a herd. Is this right? Is this what we want from our society? Is this what should happen going forward? This is the maximum we, through this technology revolution, get to achieve the top of our humanity, herd mentality, herd behavior. Maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know. I'm asking. So yes, I cut the queue at Mürren, as some do at Snowdon, in Snowdonia, in Wales, in Great Britain, in the United Kingdom. And yeah, a woman shouted at me. And Sebastian, our member to the channel, he just sat behind and waited. So I crossed. So my take on this was, I get there to the junction. I wait for whatever person is there, the last one taking pictures, doing videos, TikToks, whatever they do. And then kindly ask to be allowed to just cross, because I'm just crossing. It is a fraction of a second, 20 seconds. And then they keep doing, they can continue doing what they are doing, because this is what overtaking means. What should we do on the roads? Should we eliminate the rule of overtaking? Of course, they will say, well, but overtaking sometimes is allowed, sometimes is not. Correct. In the forest, overtaking should be allowed. You get to the exposed section. Now you wait in line. You go for the right premise. I'm not taking pictures, so you cross. Of course, the question is, but what if it is 50 people that don't want to take pictures and 2 people that want to take pictures? Or what if there is a constant flow of people that don't want to take pictures and then 2 want to take pictures? Well, if this is the case, remember, constant flow. 2 people waiting for 2 minutes will, the moment they are out of there, of the segment, the flow resumes. So yes, it builds, it creates a bit of mess, but it resumes. Either way, when you have a flow of people not taking pictures, you keep your phone in your pocket because, well, I think it's obvious, right? The message there. Don't stop for the damn stupid picture. The value of that is 0. We are not teaching anything through what we are recording on that segment of Mürren Via Ferrata. We are not bringing any, well, yes, we are bringing value into society by making the local economy richer. And that's that. Because otherwise, they squeeze how everything goes. Everyone goes there to Mürren, nobody everywhere else. So now you have a high concentration of wealth in a place that is already wealthy, and everyone else suffers. 1. Second, everyone goes on Mürren, and that one is the creme de la creme, the top. So now, we as humanity, the definition of Via Ferrata, or the definition of I did something amazing, something great, I reinvented myself, I've overstepped my limits, is Mürren. It's not anything else, which is 100 times, 1,000 times more than Mürren. It is Mürren, which Mürren is nothing. They didn't do any effort. They didn't reinvent themselves. They literally didn't step out of their comfort zone. There is nothing that changes who you are or helps you to be a better, stronger, greater person. Is this what should, for our humanity, mean that? This is the definition of it. Why not take another Via Ferrata? A more complex, a more longer. Why not make this challenge of exposure, of moving from the couch onto the outdoor different? The threshold, why not push it higher? I'm asking, I don't know. It is just a question. I don't see it with good eyes. I had a very bad impression about it, and it got worse now. Still, the question remains. How ethical is to cut the queue? And how ethical is to build a queue or lead to a queue because you are stopping and taking a picture. Should you stop and take a picture if it stops others, if it forces others in a different behavior? Why cutting a queue comes with liability? Why building a queue, stopping and recording doesn't create the same liability? I don't know, I'm asking. Maybe you have an answer.